Congratulations! You have just been born in Japan during the age of the samurai. Your first achievement is crying loudly enough to convince everyone you're alive. Your second achievement is immediately peeing on your father, establishing dominance before you can even hold your own head up. An excellent beginning to what you are absolutely certain will become the greatest samurai story ever told. Unfortunately, unlike modern babies, you weren't born into a world with video games, pizza, or internet tutorials titled "Become a Samurai in 10 Easy Steps." Instead, you've entered a world where people settle disagreements with razor-sharp swords, and your future career options are surprisingly limited. Congratulations! You're probably becoming a samurai. As a child, you spend your days running around your village pretending every stick is a legendary katana, every tree is an evil enemy, every chicken is a terrifying monster that absolutely must be defeated. After chasing one particularly aggressive chicken, you discover your first important lesson about samurai life. It turns out chickens can fight back. You return home covered in scratches, while the chicken is proudly patrolling the yard like it just defended Japan itself. Your parents aren't impressed. The chicken, however, is feeling pretty heroic. By the time you're 7 years old, your real training begins. You're expecting dramatic sword duels, spinning attacks, and slow-motion hero moments. Instead, an old instructor hands you a heavy wooden sword and immediately whacks you across the forehead with another one. As you're lying on the ground, seeing tiny birds orbiting your head, he calmly says, "Lesson 1, don't get hit." You quickly realize samurai school has a very different teaching style from what you imagined. Every mistake is corrected with another wooden sword. Educational? Yes. Comfortable? Absolutely not. Your daily routine becomes painfully predictable. Wake up before sunrise, practice swordsmanship until your arms feel like noodles, shoot arrows until your fingers hurt, learn horseback riding while trying not to become part of the horse, clean your armor, meditate. Repeat tomorrow. You ask your instructor when you'll learn the legendary spinning sword attack that heroes always use in stories. He laughs so hard he nearly drops his tea and replies, "Real warriors don't spin unless they're falling down a hill." You secretly decide spinning still looks cooler. Years pass, and eventually you're trusted with a real katana. This is the moment you've dreamed about your entire life. You slowly draw the shining blade, imagining dramatic music playing in the background. It catches the sunlight perfectly, before you accidentally slice your own sleeve while admiring yourself. The instructor doesn't even look surprised anymore. He simply sighs and mutters, "The sword isn't dangerous, the person holding it is dangerous."
Despite what movies might tell you, real samurai don't spend every day fighting epic battles. Most of your time is surprisingly ordinary. You guard castles, escort travelers, carry important messages, collect taxes, train endlessly, and sometimes spend weeks waiting for something exciting to happen. After 3 months without seeing a single enemy, you begin dramatically practicing battle poses in front of a pond just to entertain yourself. Unfortunately, you slip on a rock and fall face first into the water. The fish are unimpressed. One of them even seems disappointed. Finally, your first official mission arrives. Your heart races as your lord gives the assignment. Surely this is it. Perhaps you'll eliminate a dangerous enemy or rescue someone important. Instead, your commander announces, "Protect these bags of rice." Rice? That's it? For the next 3 days, you guard sacks of grain like they're the emperor himself. Nothing happens. No bandits appear, no dramatic battles begin. You eventually find yourself giving names to the rice bags because you're spending more time with them than with actual people. Several months later, real action finally arrives. A dangerous spy has entered a nearby town. Your commander explains the mission carefully. Remain hidden, observe quietly, do not do anything heroic. You nod confidently while immediately planning something unbelievably heroic. Why walk through the streets like everyone else when you can leap across rooftops like a legendary shadow warrior? You climb onto the first roof perfectly. The second goes well too. By the third roof, you're already imagining the stories people will tell about your incredible stealth. Then, every roof tile beneath your feet breaks at once. You crash through the ceiling of an innocent family's kitchen and land directly inside a giant pot of soup. An elderly grandmother calmly looks down at you, stirs the soup once, and asks, "Are you staying for dinner?" Meanwhile, the spy quietly escapes because everyone is too busy pulling vegetables out of your body. Recovering from your broken leg takes weeks. Your commander officially writes in the mission report, "Operation unsuccessful due to excessive confidence and unexpected soup." Somehow, that's not even the most embarrassing report filed that year. Eventually, you're healthy again and sent to scout another enemy camp. This time, your commander repeats the instructions 3 separate times. Observe only. Do not attack. You promise you'll follow orders. Everything goes perfectly until you trip over a tree root, slide down a muddy hill like an out-of-control sled, and crash directly into the enemy campfire. Every soldier slowly turns toward you. Thinking quickly, you stand up, bow respectfully, and say, "Terribly sorry, wrong campsite." Before anyone can respond, you sprint away faster than you've ever run in your life. Amazingly, nobody chases you because they're too busy laughing. Life as a samurai isn't only about fighting. Manners are just as important. Every bow must be perfect, every conversation respectful. During one important meeting with your lord, you suddenly sneeze so violently that your helmet flies across the room and lands neatly in his lap. The room becomes completely silent. Even the birds outside seem too shocked to chirp. You briefly consider changing careers and becoming a fisherman. Then comes your first real battle. This is the glorious moment you've imagined since childhood. Drums thunder across the valley. Banners wave proudly. Hundreds of warriors stand ready. You dramatically charge forward, only to step into deep mud and perform what future historians would probably describe as an aggressive accidental cartwheel. Somehow, while rolling around like a confused barrel, 3 enemy arrows completely miss you. The veterans nearby nod with admiration, believing you've invented an advanced dodging technique. You decide not to correct them.
Real battles are nothing like the graceful duels shown in legends. They're loud, confusing, dusty, exhausting, and full of people shouting different orders at the same time. At one point, you launch a fearless attack, only to realize everyone else changed direction several seconds earlier. You are now bravely fighting a very determined bush. The bush loses, making it your first confirmed victory. As the years pass, your skills genuinely improve. You stop falling off horses. You stop cutting your sleeves. You become calmer, wiser, and far more disciplined. Younger warriors begin asking for your advice. You tell them the truth. Real courage isn't about looking cool. It's about keeping your head clear when everyone else is panicking. Also, never jump off rooftops just because it seems cinematic. Trust me on that one. When you become an older samurai, your responsibilities change. Instead of charging into battles, you spend your days teaching younger students. Every year, one overconfident teenager insists he can perform a dramatic rooftop assassination. Every year, you simply point at your slightly crooked leg and quietly say, "That's exactly what I thought too." For some reason, they usually listen after that. You also discover that many real samurai enjoyed peaceful hobbies. You practice calligraphy, write poetry, visit temples, and appreciate cherry blossoms. Younger you would have laughed at spending an afternoon writing poems about flowers. Older you realizes it's surprisingly relaxing, especially when nobody's trying to stab you. Eventually, your hair turns gray, your knees make strange noises whenever you stand up, and your sword somehow feels twice as heavy as it used to. One evening, your grandchildren gather around and ask if you were ever afraid during battle. You smile honestly, every single time. They ask if you were a legendary hero. Sometimes.
Then they ask if the story about falling through someone's roof into soup is actually true. You sigh deeply. Unfortunately, history remembers the important moments. As your life quietly comes to an end, you look back and realize that being a samurai wasn't about endless glorious duels. It was about loyalty, discipline, patience, responsibility, and learning from countless embarrassing mistakes. You fought battles, protected your people, served your lord, trained future generations, and somehow survived despite making decisions that would make modern action movie directors proud and your instructor deeply disappointed. So, would you survive life as a samurai? Maybe. If you're disciplined, respectful, and willing to train for years, you have a decent chance. But if your first thought during a dangerous mission is, "Watch this is going to look awesome," then congratulations. History probably remembers you, just not for the reason you hoped.